One of the biggest challenges when you get started with wholesale real estate is really understanding how to do your marketing methods, which marketing methods to choose, and how much to spend in those marketing channels and when to spend more. And so I've got here Brent Daniels, a good friend of mine and one of the top experts and operators, I would say, in wholesale real estate and educators too.
Thank you.
Brent and I go way back.
Yeah.
Brent's a good friend of mine and it's just awesome to spend time with you. We're at an event together and we're here recording content. So Brent, you are a master at this. You're an expert in this area. What I love about you, Brent, is you delineate this information very clearly where there's no misunderstanding as to how you should do this or best practices. You can do whatever you want, but there's a way that you've seen, I've seen, that if you're consistent with it, it should get you the results you're looking for. And so let's start there. Like someone comes into wholesale real estate, the very first thing they need to know is, okay, how do I generate leads? There's 1,000 ways I could do that. How do I generate leads? How do I understand how much I should budget? When should I spend more? And how do I transition into these different, maybe better marketing channels? How does somebody make sense of all of this?
So there's only 3 ways to get deals or leads or whatever, right? And this is where it gets real tricky when you're getting started because you're not exactly sure what you should be doing. So there's referrals. That's just people knowing and liking and trusting you, sending you some opportunities, whether it's a real estate agent or it's a family member, a friend, or somebody that just trusts you, somebody that saw you on social media, whatever, right? They refer you a deal, or you go out into the marketplace and knock doors or make calls, and outbound, you prospect for these leads, or there's inbound leads, which is traditional marketing, right?
Okay.
And those are the best leads, right, Jerry? Well, beyond referrals are the best leads, but they're a little bit trickier to like really scale. Inbound marketing is the end game to really build a big business. But in the beginning, you want to stay really, really, really tight with your budget and really go out and earn those conversations that you have with property owners. Because the fact is, you know it, I know it, the more conversations you have, the more offers you make, the more deals that you're going to do. So there's really 4 main marketing budgets: 0 to 2,000. 2,000 to 5,000, 5,000 to 10, and 10,000 plus a month.
Monthly.
In your marketing efforts or lead generation budget.
So is what you're saying then, those different budgets, like take the first one, 0, so no money, up to $2,000, that's a marketing budget that should be allocated doing very specific things. Would you say that?
Yep.
So there's going to be a lot of marketing channels, we call them methods, right? That would fall outside of that, that you're not ready for right now.
Right.
Until you graduate to a bigger budget.
Just put this in your head. Just put this in your head for the next 12 months at least. Every inbound lead is going to cost you $300.
Okay.
And you need probably 20 inbound leads to do a deal.
To get a deal.
So that's $6,000 is the upper level. Now, the better you get at converting, the more exit strategies you have, the better you are at doing the discovery process. When you do speak to a seller and really understand what their goal is, the more you're going to close. That'll get more to like 1 to 10, 1 to 15. But when you're getting inbound leads for the first year, it's like 1 to 20. And so $6,000 to do a deal, that should get you $20,000.
Okay, so that's really good. I mean, guys, that's pretty...
I'll take that deal every time.
Pretty undeniable data for that, right?
But the problem is, it's not, I give you $6,000, Jerry, today, you get paid $20,000 today. No.
Yeah.
You put $6,000 in, and it could be 45, 60 days before you get that 20,000.
Right.
So there's a gap there. There's a time gap there that we have to understand.
Yeah, that's really good. I think that's helpful for people to really understand. I think one thing too, Brent, is let's make sure if you're watching this right now that you're clear. When Brent says a lead, that's a quality conversation where somebody raises their hand and says, yes, I want to sell.
Yes.
And when you say inbound, they're contacting you through some form of a marketing channel, right?
Direct mail, TV, pay-per-click, pay-per-lead, bandit signs, whatever. You know, any time that they're reaching out and saying, hey, I would consider an offer on my property.
Okay, right? That would be what we call a lead. You need 20 of those.
Well, a lead truly is somebody that's made the decision they're going to sell, Jerry.
Okay.
Because there's plenty of people that just want to know how much their house is worth. There's plenty of people that are like, well, maybe I'll sell if I get the right price. If those foreign investors or those California buyers, we hear that classic, they're going to come in and buy everything and they pay more than it's worth and it's great, right? That's just pie in the sky. That doesn't.
So that would not qualify as a lead.
No.
Yeah, I call it the make me move.
Yeah, exactly.
Sellers where if I got that number, of course I'd sell. But that number's retail, and that's not going to work. Right. Okay. So just some qualifications here. You got the lead. Count on about 20 of those. Count on average about $300, about $6,000 in marketing budget to generate that one deal. That hopefully should be a $15,000, $20,000 deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if you don't have that,
what if you don't have that?
We got to then we're in hustle season. Yeah. We're in hustle season, which you and I have all I mean, everybody's that has truly lasted in this business over 10 years. Everybody had a hustle season where you're knocking doors, you're making calls.
Yeah.
You're either calling real estate agents or you're calling directly to the property owners or you're knocking on doors.
Yeah.
That is it. And that's how you really start building the momentum up. The only other thing I would mention that nobody takes me up on this, Jerry. Yeah. Nobody takes me up on this. If you go in to Facebook and you go into the groups and you put in real estate investing, real estate groups, community groups, wherever you live. Where did you move to in Tennessee?
Knoxville.
So you go Knoxville real estate investing, then Knoxville communities, and you start friend requesting everybody on Facebook, as many as you can. I think it's like 50 or 100 a day that you can do. And you get it all the way up to 5,000.
Yeah.
And then you post every single day to your stories, I buy houses cash.
Yeah.
DM me. You will do 4 deals on zero budget. Cool. I promise. You will do 4 deals. It'll be worth anywhere from 60 to 100,000 in deals this year if you do it every day.
Because
people won't do it.
Somebody in there is going to see that. They're going to have a deal. They're going to contact you.
Yeah, real estate agents are going to come out of the woodwork. Other wholesalers are going to come out of the woodwork. Your aunt that you had no idea just inherited a house or whatever, or somebody that you went to high school or college with or whatever is going to be like, wow, I know that Jerry buys houses. I'm going to just DM him because, somebody that I know needs to sell a house cash. They need to sell it fast. They need to sell it not on the market.
Why will nobody do that?
Because they're scared. Because people put labels on themselves, Jerry, because they go, oh, I'm a teacher, I'm a truck driver, I'm in the military, I'm a firefighter, I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor. I can't go out there and say I buy houses.
Yeah.
People will think that I'm a phony.
What if
they're going to think it's a scam?
That knows me and they know I don't actually have money. All that goes
right.
All the head games.
But you have to understand, what's transactional funding?
You're borrowing the money from somebody else.
How much do they give you?
All of it.
How much?
All of it.
100%.
Yeah.
Millions and millions are available to everybody watching this. If they get a good deal, somebody would give them 100% of the purchase.
Yeah.
So I bless you. You are now a real estate investor.
You're endowed.
You are now a cash buyer. You're a cash buyer. The whole industry is set up for us.
Yeah.
Because there's more cash than there are deals.
Yeah. So I like to look at it like this, Brent. Tell me if you see things like this. When someone comes into the industry, one of two things is happening. They have no time or some time and no money. That's like most of us. That was me. It was you.
Yeah.
Some time and no money. Or they've got no time, a lot of money. Some time, some money. Like there's a correlation between time and money.
Yep.
And you watching this have to really kind of understand, where do I fit in this equation? What's my available time to work on this? And what's the available disposable money I can put towards marketing?
Yep.
But even saying that, I kind of tell people, and I'd love your opinion on this, that early on, until you learn how to close and transact, you really should be staying down in those free and low cost methods.
Yes.
Do that hustle work, gain some skill. You don't need to do it forever, but gain some skills before you start graduating into the higher budgets to do the marketing. Would you think that's good advice?
Yeah, when I sit down with anybody and they're like, okay, what is my blueprint? How should I get started? What's my first 90 days look like? I look at those 2 factors, right? What is your schedule? What is your budget? Those are 2 huge ones. The other one is, what's your experience with sales? What's your sales experience?
Yes.
What's your experience having conversations with strangers? Yeah. That's all I mean by sales. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, are you effective at communicating with strangers about real estate?
Talking,
right?
Yeah.
And then the other one is, what market are you in? Is it a big market? Is it a small market? And so that really crafts the different strategies.
Yeah.
But if you're starting out and you don't have the experience, like you're saying, of having a lot of these conversations, talk to 1,000 people as fast as you can.
And then you'll learn this.
I mean, you could literally go on Realtor.com,
Yeah.
just pull up agents and just start calling them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And have those conversations.
Get
have
the
a
marbles out of
conversation.
your mouth, get the...
Yeah, listen, I'm looking for original condition or properties that need significant rehab. What do you have?
That's it.
That's it. And then so you start that, or you just pull a list of all the ugliest houses in your area, either by driving for dollars or pulling lists. You have all these.
Yeah.
You have them all.
Yeah, we have it in PropWire. It's just totally free.
PropWire has it free.
Add a bunch of filters, get your list, and go do it. Yeah.
So I would go houses that are built before 1990. I would go houses that are 2,000 square feet or smaller. I would go that they've been owned for at least 7 years. And I would just pick certain areas. I don't even, I feel like if they've owned it for 7 years, most of the time they probably have equity. I mean, they could have pulled out equity on a home equity line, but I don't care. I'm not going to filter all that.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like the filters, not to say that yours are ineffective, but I feel like the data that you buy isn't like perfect with really getting the percentage of equity wrong.
Yeah.
And I feel like the more filters you put on it, the smaller the list, and then you just don't have enough people to talk to. So,
but those parameters there are someone that's possibly looking to sell, and it fits a box where you can get your head around it. It's not something newer. It's something they've owned for a while. All the things, right? Where it's manageable now. If you talk to somebody that owns a house like that, there's a chance that you could put a deal together because it's not too weird or too out there, too difficult or too big, too small. It's none of that.
Well, look at the pool of buyers that we could sell this to. I mean, bread and butter for a flipper, 2,000 square feet or lower, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, easy flip,
Even buy
in and out.
They're going to want
even
those.
buy and hold. Yeah, exactly.
They're going to want those. Yeah.
Yeah. So we go and then you add a layer of distress. Whether it's they're behind on their taxes, they're missing their mortgage, they just inherited the property. They're
out of state,
absentee owners, 100%.
Yeah. So that's great. And then Brent, when is it time?
PropWire. It's free, guys.
Totally free.
It is free. Jerry is trying to get all of you onto this platform because I mean, people usually charge $100 a month.
Yeah.
And you're doing it as to build an actual community of people that are
and we do something
doing
really cool, Brent.
Deals.
Here's my I love your property filters. I'm going to play with that a little bit and start doing that a little bit more. One thing we do is we'll go absentee owner. Now that's massive in a market. Like if you took I just did it the other day in like Tampa and it's like 70,000 or something.
200,000 in Phoenix.
Yeah, because all that means is it means the owner, it's not their primary residence. Right. More than likely it's a rental property, right? So we do absentee owner, that starts our list. And then we start adding in some filters to get the list whittled down into something manageable that you could call, not hire a cold caller, but you call them.
Yeah.
And so we want to get that down to like 100 or 50 or 150, right? Small. So then what we'll do is we'll add, not only will we do absentee owner, we'll do out of state. That adds another layer of maybe distress because it's hard to own a property when you live in another state.
Yeah.
We'll add tired landlord, which means they've owned it for 7 years. We call that tired. We don't know if they're tired, but they've owned it for 7 years. We'll add high equity, which is 60% or more.
Yeah.
And then we'll add one more vacant.
Awesome.
Because a buy and hold's most painful time is when it's vacant.
Listen to this. 2020 U.S. Census, 11 million single family houses are vacant.
That's a lot.
11. If you guys ever are like, oh, there's so much competition. Oh, these guys are so big. They must be getting all the deals. It is nonsense. There is a literal conveyor belt that has no beginning. It has no ending. And it just keeps coming with ugly houses and empty houses forever. Yeah. Forever.
And all you need is a tiny sliver of the market anyway. To make
you do 50 deals a year and your life's changed forever.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. So you can create these lists, condense these down, pick up the phone, call those people.
So that's what you do with that 0 to 2,000 budget, right? And people, I think, hire VAs because their schedule is congested, and that's fine. But do it and call yourself. Like if you are working full time, find 5 hours. You can find 5 hours. We have 168 hours in a week. Find 5 hours that you can make the calls yourself. Yeah. Because if you look at the cash flow quadrant, right? Where it shows how you get income. There's employee, and we could put a graphic, hopefully, whoever's editing this, and self-employed, business owner, and investor. Well, a lot of people try to get into the business owner without getting into the self-employed first. The problem with that is self-employed basically means specialized skill. That's all self-employed means. You have a specialized skill. Like, LeBron is self-employed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't own the Lakers. He's self-employed. He's got a specialized skill. A chef, a doctor, a pilot, specialized skills, right? And if we don't build up that specialized skill part and just jump to the business owner side, we have no idea how to recruit great talent.
And train and retain.
Right.
And, yeah.
I mean, you could put them in front of training. You could put them in front of Jerry Norton's YouTube channel, right? You can do all that, but you don't really know you have talent unless you know what it takes to get to really develop that specialized skill.
I'm still that. I have teams and people, and I don't need to be on the phones, but I still like to get on the phone.
Sure.
To keep my skills fresh, stay relevant to the market. All the things. So I love that. That's
well.
great.
Once you build that skill, once you talk to 1,000 strangers about buying their house or agents, you could talk to anybody about anything. So anybody that's like, oh, I'm kind of an introvert, I'm kind of shy, I don't really feel confident and all that. Like, yeah, because you don't have practice. You haven't been forced to. You know what I mean? Like, wake up tomorrow with the zero mentality. I have zero money in the bank, zero opportunities, zero deals going. And it might not be hard for some people watching this. This might be reality. I was negative 800,000. I had a judgment for 800,000. So like, force yourself into that uncomfortable spot, take massive imperfect action, talk to 1,000 people and watch what happens.
Yeah. I've seen it where I have a student come in and I'm hearing them and they're fumbling through and they're stuck, and then I hear them 6 months later and it's like night and day.
Night and day.
Because they just put in the work.
Well, you also get posture from it. You also get confidence from it. You know what I mean? You stand a little bit taller. Mindset is all, if you want a strong mindset, have strong skills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you have skills in something, you're not overthinking it, right? You know how to do it. You have the muscle memory and the brain memory of just being able to do a certain thing. And so you don't have to like, oh, I need to pump myself up and I need to do all this, aspirations and gratitudes, and all those things are great, right? But you could just go in, get a name, address, phone number, press go, and you're on the phone talking to a homeowner or an agent.
Yeah.
And that's all it comes down to. If you have enough conversations and make enough offers, you will build a fortune.
I love how
guaranteed. It's undefeated, Jerry.
And then when do you graduate to the higher marketing channels?
Yeah, so you start closing some consistent deals. And I like Sean Terry's old school, don't hire anybody until you've made 30 grand 3 straight months.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's so smart. Because putting the financial responsibility of somebody and their family in your hands is a big responsibility.
Hiring somebody.
Yeah. And you have to have enough lead flow to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
It was interesting, you and I on Wholesale Hotline, a podcast that you and I do with Jamil Damji and Pace Morby. We had someone come on there and they're like, I've done 3 deals. How do I scale? I want to hire. And you and I were both like, no. Stay on the phone, get some more deals done. You'll get there, but work your way there.
I've been thinking about this, Jerry, because we want to be big thinkers, right? We want to be big thinkers, and I think big thinkers are like, okay, I want to work on my business, not in my business, right? And we want to get to that part so fast that the patience of doing this a lot and for years, on average 7 years before you make $1 million. Would you agree?
I think so, yeah.
Right? After taxes, after marketing costs, after take home, be a millionaire, 7 years of consistently building your skills and talking to property owners.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
That's really amazing. Yeah.
If you're 19 years old,
yeah.
If you're 53 years old, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you start 7 years and you're just consistent and keep building it up, build up your pipeline, build up your reputation, build up your network. 7 years on average it'll take before you have a real net worth outside of your home equity.
But would you say that you can build this business self-funding its own growth?
Yeah.
Meaning you start with the free and the low cost, right? You do some transactions, reinvest as much of that as you can back into the business.
Yeah.
I say you reinvest into tools and training and marketing, as much of that as you can.
Yeah.
Now you can start to see where your budgets can grow. And then, but basically, if you think about this, Brent, this blows my mind. Your marketing budget's coming from the revenue you generated on your last deal. So you're really building up this business that never took initial capital, and it grew from zero to something by self-funding its own growth. But you got to be smart and strategic about that.
Right. Yeah.
And you put these in buckets, like 0 to 2,000. Then what'd you say?
2 to 5, 5 to 10, and 10 plus.
And so I kind of think about it. I kind of sometimes do it from like a revenue perspective, but I like the budgeting perspective because that tells you how much I can spend, and I should be able, with some predictability, know what kind of revenue that will generate on that spend.
Well, and remember, when you're spending money, whether it be on a dialer, on data, CRM, on any of the marketing, any of that, you need to have at least 3 months set aside. You got to let it breathe for at least 90 days and preferably 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months.
If you have a 6-month reserve before you start any new marketing channel, you're going to be in great position. And here's why. And this is something that I was excited to talk about, and I just shouted from the rooftops because it was something that was taught to me very early on. In real estate, 70 to 75% of your income comes in your top 6 months of the year.
And when you say top 6 months, your best 6 months.
Right.
So if you 12 months in a year, take your best.
It could be March, November, April, July. Yeah.
Those best 6 months make up 75% of your revenue.
Correct.
Yeah. That's that 80-20 rule, really, 75 rule.
Right. And it could be as much as 80%.
Now, why is that significant? Why does that matter?
Because what happens is we make a bunch of money and we're like, you've talked to 1,000 people. I've done a ton of interviews. I make $200,000 a month.
Yeah.
Well, not every month. You're right. Not every month. I mean, that might be your average.
Yeah.
But it's not. If you looked at the actual books, that's not going to be accurate. And so there's certain times where buyers are more aggressive. We see that. From the second to the end of the third quarter, start of the second quarter to the end of the third quarter, right? We see a big uptick in income and people wanting to buy the deals, and so there's ebbs and flows to it. The reason I bring that up is if you don't have dry powders, if you don't have cash sitting there to keep funding your marketing, then when it's a lean month, you stop. When it's a lean month, you start going, should I start doing pad splits? Should I start doing flips? Should I start adding to my rental portfolio?
Turn my marketing off, fire my team.
Right. And then all of a sudden, you're reliving the same. Every year is Groundhog Day. Every year is Groundhog Year. You're just making the same amount of money every single year, because if your business is a train and it's on the tracks, the engine of that train is your marketing, is your lead generation. You turn that off, the train's going to slow down or stop.
Yeah.
And so you got to keep feeding that all the time. That's why you have to set aside 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the deals you do in 6 months are from the efforts you do today, like the marketing you do today.
Unless it's PPC.
Then it's maybe the deals you do in 30 days for the effort you spend today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Brent, this has been phenomenal. Really like how you just break this down and simplify this. I mean, so many people make this overly complicated in understanding how these things should work together. So I really appreciate you breaking that down. Guys, leave a comment and say, Brent, you're a flipping genius. And what questions you have on this. By the way, a couple things, guys. Brent and his team are the masters at PPC. They have a PPC agency. Me and some of my partners are using your agency with great success. So I'm going to put a link in the description below where you can check that out. When you're ready to spend the money on the inbound leads, then Brent's definitely the person you want to talk to about that. And also, let's put some information there, Brent, about how people can learn more about you. They can maybe take some of your training, get maybe in a little bit more into your world. Yeah. If you're not already, I mean, you probably are. If you're not, you should be. Brent has an amazing YouTube channel, and we get to spend time every Monday on a podcast. So be sure to check that out, guys. But we really appreciate you. And again, let us know what your takeaways are from this, your biggest takeaways from this are. And let us know too, like where you're at in the journey. Are you in that 0 to 2,000, 2,000 to 5,000, 5,000 to 10,000, and then 10,000 to what was it?
Yeah, up.
Up from there.
it's
Yeah.
just up from
Which
there.
one of those are you in? And what challenges are you facing? That'd be helpful, wouldn't it? And then Brent and I will.
And there is a difference, right? At that 5,000 mark, right? When you get into that third section, that's when you start turning on inbound, right? That's when you start doing the pay per lead. Because remember, $6,000 per deal, whether that's direct mail, pay per lead, pay per click, all those things. It's going to be around $6,000 a deal. So make sure you have 3 to 6 months set up so that you can get that consistency.
You can really do it. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love that.
You're the man.
Thanks,
You're
man.
a flipping genius.
And you know what? I think we should do another video on maybe after this one or a subsequent video where we talk about really those phases of the growth cycle. So we're going to cover that.
Let us know if you want that in the comments section, guys. Let us know.
Be on the lookout.
We'd love to do it.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. All right, we'll see you guys on the next video.